Libra, hi. So this is going to be a reading for mid-May 2026, and I'll do the reading for you, and then I'll close it off with a oracle card. And these are general readings, so they may not resonate for all of you. If they do, there is an extended at the end of the video. You can check out the link for that in the description box below if you want. Let's see, Libra. Bam! The overall energy for the reading, the High Priestess. Intuition is your BFF at this moment in time, hopefully. Let's see what's going on. Nine of Wands crossed by the Queen of Pentacles is what starts off the reading. With this one, I'm kind of getting a sense of you coming in and saying, I don't have much time for myself right now. You know, like there's so many things to do. I got to take care of so many things that when it comes to me personally, you know, giving myself a couple of minutes a day or things like that, like I'm trying, but there's not a lot of time for that. Okay. In your focus, the Eight of Cups, it shows because you're showing up disconnected from your heart. So you're not very much in tune. I feel like you're engaged in this routine type of an energy, where you're kind of forgetting about yourself a little bit there. In the recent past, the Queen of Wands, you were doing way better there in the past, in which I see a sense of confidence, a sense of, hey, I got this, you know, but definitely more connected to yourself there. In your Strength, the Knight of Swords, yeah, you're engaged with all sorts of who knows what, energies that are outside of yourself that you are taking care of, and you are running whatever it is that you're doing, but again, that kind of takes you away from what about you. In the immediate future, the World card, a cycle is coming to a close, maybe this one, in which you've stepped in a routine-like energy. Supporting this reading, the King of Pentacles, yeah, you're definitely in this energy of having to take care of shit. And I don't know if you placed that on your shoulders or somebody else did, but you took it on regardless. You know, if you decided, okay, I'm going to take it on, or if somebody decided, okay, Libra, you're going to take care of shit right now. You know, so it feels like you're the one in charge here of all sorts of stuff. The energy that surrounds you, and you may not be aware of it, the Four of Wands. I mean, this shows up like a commitment. Commitment states two energies. It's a I got your back, you got mine type of a thing. And I can understand. Maybe the other energy is a little bit, they're resting. Or maybe they're going through something, or who knows. And then, you know, it's kind of normal for when one energy is down, the other one to pick it up, you know. Maybe that's what's happening, hopefully. Because otherwise we're going to have an issue here. If there's two energies and only one puts in the work, then we're going to have an issue. But for now, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. In your hopes and fears, the Ace of Pentacles, yeah, you're giving me a sense of, you know, this too shall pass. Like, it's not going to last forever. I'm taking care of shit now, and it feels like the world is on my shoulders, and I got this. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, you know, I hope that, you know, things are going to feel a little better at some point. Like a little more balance, where it's not just you taking care of shit. In the potential outcome, the Star. I feel like something's coming in for you in the sense of determining what it is that you truly desire for yourself. You know, pursuing your heart's desire here is coming through as an energy. So maybe you're just coming up with something. Okay, this is what I want to do, and you're starting to pursue that goal. Or maybe you've already set something up for you as a goal, but because of having to fight, stop it. Because of having to pick something up here, you might have put your goals on the back burner. I don't know. And you're picking it up back there. I have no idea. But let's see. I don't like it when they fight. But sometimes I follow them around. If I'm out there and they're fighting, like, not here, guys. Take it someplace else. It's not a fighting environment. Anyways, for the High Priestess, you get the Ace of Swords, the Queen of Cups, the Page of Wands. There is an energy of your calling or something. So I'm guessing your heart's desire is already here. Where I see your intuition connected to it, almost like you were on this path of pursuing your goals, right? And then something happens where you feel like you got to pick up the slack or something for a situation, and it almost feels like you're putting your life on hold or your goals on hold to take care of shit. And then you resume, because the energy of, again, pursuing something here very meaningful to you is definitely here, available. I'm guessing you're not that connected to it because, again, you look like you're taking care of who knows what here. For the 9 of Wands, you get the 3 of Pentacles, the Star, the 4 of Wands. Okay, so your heart's desire doesn't just include you, it's for this whole commitment aspect. So it's not just for you. It includes somebody else. So they're included. But they're not participating. At least not right now. You are. So what are you doing here? Building an empire? Just you? For 2? I don't understand, because from a natural response to things, you seem to not want to be doing that. And I can't blame you, because no, you shouldn't. If it's a teamwork, it's a teamwork. Again, if it's a temporary situation in which somebody's down and you're like, okay, I'll pick it up, don't worry about it for now. But like, if it started off like that and then they seem to not get up there, okay, let's even it out now, then what are we doing here? Then are we no longer part of this teamwork type of situation? Because, what is this? Then it's all on you? Why? Of course you don't have time for yourself. For the Queen of Pentacles, you get the Hierophant, the 2 of Wands, the Death card. Okay, so you're telling me... it's been happening for a while now. I see commitment, and I see it's the type of commitment where it should involve teamwork, and it's just you picking up the slack, and I can't necessarily justify it with maybe it's temporary, because it feels like it's been going on for a while. But since it's been going on, it almost feels like you don't have time for you. No, you don't have time for you, because you had to make time for an extra energy that's part of this. So that doesn't give you that space and time for you anymore. And just by doing this and kind of falling off the equal give and take, that in itself goes against, self-love. What about you here? Who's taking care of you? Let me do the 8 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, the 10 of Pentacles, the Temperance card. You have your times in which you just want to quit. I quit. Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And this is one of those times. I feel like you're kind of bouncing back every time from those times, though. So I'm not sure this is your first nor your last time feeling this. That's kind of normal. I'm just, again, how long has this been going on for? Let me do the Queen of Wands. In the recent past, the Judgment card, the Knight of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles. See, you were good here. You're like, I'm good. I'm doing my part. I'm feeling balanced. I'm feeling right. I'm feeling like I get shit done. Whatever I need to get done on my end. You were good. Everything looked and felt balanced. Now it doesn't, because I feel like you're picking up the slack in a particular situation that you're part of, and it kind of depletes you. For the Knight of Swords, in your strength, you get the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords. It's not sustainable, and you know that. Theoretically, I feel like you know that. But it's one of those things in which you have to keep on doing it to realize that that's true. It's not sustainable. It's gonna crash. You're gonna crash. You can't hold an energy that's meant to be for 2, just you on your shoulders. You can't do that. You can try, but again, you'll exhaust yourself to the point of you're not going to want to deal with this and completely leave it behind you, because it's like it's too hard. So it's not sustainable. And you're kind of scared of that, realizing that exact thing, that, can't do this anymore. I don't have the resources to do this anymore. Yeah, you're going to get there. And you're close to that point, actually, but it scares you. Getting to that point scares you, because it's true. Let me do the World card. In the immediate future, the Devil, the Hangman, the Nine of Pentacles. You're closing off a cycle in which you just stood there and took it. I don't know what the fuck that means, but that's kind of how it comes through. I just stood there and took it. Okay. Which was not great. So maybe putting up with this for the longest time. Dealing with a foundation that was built for two while you were the only one agitated in there. Kind of like, I'm going to be the only one that's doing stuff. Well, it doesn't work that way. Because it turns out to be quite unhealthy to you personally. Because again, why should you do that? Where is you in all of this? Who takes care of you in all of this? Because you're busy taking care of everything else. So it wraps up into a little bit of an unhealthy cycle in which you don't put your foot down and say, hey, enough is enough. Now it's about me. But this cycle is coming to a close. So I think soon enough you'll be done with this. And I don't know, that doesn't mean done with this commitment. It could be you're putting your foot down and saying, hey, it takes two to tango here. And I've been the only one tangoing. King of Pentacles. In the supportive energies, you get the Knight of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, the Four of Wands. This is just your progress through it all. Like when you started taking this on, you started really thinking that, hey, I can do this. It's doable. Yeah, I can do this. I can take it all on. And then I see your energy dropping down and getting to the point in which you actually start arguing with yourself here. Like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you able to do it? Of course you can do this. And like manning yourself up there. And then at the end of it, again, you're still showing me a sense of keeping on. Like, okay, I'll keep pushing here. We'll be okay. I'll keep pushing. We'll be fine. We'll get through this. Where it wasn't a we, it was a you. Let me do the Four of Wands in the hidden energies. You get the Ace of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the Strength card. And I don't know if things played out like that. Sometimes we feel like we take it all on, right? But that doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's true. Sometimes we feel that heaviness. Sometimes we burden ourselves with that. That doesn't mean that that's what actually happened. The thing is, if you don't realize, hey, I'm feeling a certain way, you keep on playing out from the same energy, and then you get burned out, and then you're like, oh my God, fuck this shit, I'm out. But like if at some point you start realizing, hey, what's going on here? Why am I, okay, I'm feeling like I'm the only one that's putting in effort here. Okay, bring it up. Bring it up when you do realize that. This is the point of we need to talk that's coming through. Hey, I'm feeling this heaviness. I'm feeling like I'm the only one that's putting in effort. I feel like I'm all alone here, even though there's you here too. So bring it up. That's how you're going to break the cycle. And whether or not you're actually, that's just your perception or the reality of things, if you don't bring it up, you won't even know. You might not even know even if you do bring it up, because I don't know what's going to be at the other end of the table. How aware of a person you're dealing with, or how reasonable of a person you're dealing with. So in situations where there's at least two energies, I always say there's your side, there's their side, and then there's the truth. So it's just our perception of things. And sometimes we do feel burdened, and sometimes we do feel like, you know, we're exhausted over something that might not even happen, but something was triggered within us, within that situation, that makes us feel like that situation is exhausting us, you know? So I don't know if this is the truth of what's going on within this dynamic, but I can see where you stand. And the minute you realize, hey, this is how I feel about this, the way to break all of that cycle, ongoing cycle of the world is on my shoulders, bring it up and see what happens, you know? Because otherwise you'll just let yourself go to the point of you will really want to just fuck it all and walk away, you know? So for the Ace of Pentacles in your hopes and fears, you get the Six of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Three of Swords. Yeah. Like if you cross that line, when you reach the place of I'm too hurt by what's going on, I'm too sucked out completely of my energy and everything, to this, to that, you will not have the energy to bring it up. You're gonna want to distance yourself completely and start over someplace else where there's neutral energy. You can start from scratch, you know? So is this you kind of reaching that line and wanting to bring it up, or have you crossed the line into fuck this shit, I'm out? I don't know. You're playing around the line, that's for sure, but I don't know exactly if you crossed it. You look like you did, for a little bit at least. For the potential outcome, you get the High Priestess, the Three of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, you seem to be kind of coming back around. I get the sense that maybe you did kind of, you know, from all the heaviness, all the everything that has been put on you, which by the way, you put it there, you might have gone to the extreme of fuck this shit, I'm out. And that gave you a little bit of space, a little bit of a different perspective, because I see you eventually, after some time has passed, kind of connecting back to yourself and trying to make a comeback, but a healthy one. A sense of, hey, maybe we should talk, you know? Maybe we should figure out what the hell happened there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing this as an outcome. Of maybe you do need a little bit of space to clear out a little bit from this energy. But anyways, let me see what the universe has as a final advice. The Ten of Swords, the Empress, the Six of Cups. Yeah, I think you crossed the line. You're at that point of, I'm done. There's nothing to talk about. I'm done. I feel exhausted. I feel this. I feel that. I'm done. Okay. Again, don't be surprised if at some point, after some time, after you recharge a little bit and get back in touch with yourself, if you're going to come in a different space regarding the situation, and maybe you're going to want to extend a little bit of, hey, let's see what the hell happened there. Like, for real, you know. So let's do Alice the Wonderland Oracle. Where's Juno? She was in the box. Oh. Follow your own good advice. Trust yourself. You know what is best for you. Oh, she is. She's in the hole. She went from the box to the hole. She's this cat tree. Cosmo is there, and where Cosmo sits, there's like a little platform thing, and underneath there's a little hole. Juno's in there. I'm like, where the hell is she? Hold on, where was I? Number 10. There are times when we become overwhelmed and begin to feel as if there would be nothing better at all than to collapse, cry, and to turn in on ourselves, particularly if we have made an error of judgment. This is understandable, and we must be permitted to express who we are and how we feel. However, once Alice has cried about a seemingly unsolvable situation, about forgetting something very important, she tells herself that continuing to cry will have no use. This stern command to her emotions brings her back to a place where she can contemplate what is best done next. Anytime you make an error, it can be helpful to grieve a little for the difficulty you have created. But once you have done this, continuing with the sadness serves no real purpose. It is best to follow Alice's example. Cry, then stop, and follow your own good advice and your own good sense. Receiving this card means you know what you need to do. You need to clear, ground, and center yourself so you can contemplate what to do next. This card also says that you do know what is best for you and often give yourself excellent advice, but that you don't often follow it. You are being gently advised to settle yourself emotionally, to think through a problem, to stop admonishing yourself, and to follow your good advice to yourself. Perhaps treating yourself like a close friend or a dear child will help you to move calmly forward without criticizing yourself too harshly for the situation you currently find yourself in. You can change this if you follow your own very good sense. Divination: harsh self-judgment for a mistake or an error made. Unmet personal expectation causing inconsolable sadness. A reminder to detach, find clarity, and follow your personal internal guidance system, which has some very practical solutions. Anyways, that's what I have for you. Hope this helped, and I'll see you next time. Bye.